What's up, guys? My name is Henry Lowe from Procapita Partners, and this is the first Business Bullpen. We had the idea to sort of, after partnering up with the guys at More Than Baseball, I connected through one of my buddies that, played baseball with Slade and, introduced me to Jeremy and Simon, and sort of the catalyst for this was basically just create a webinar series to talk about, personal finance, understanding just financial services generally, but then also just general business topics, taking advantage of your platform as a professional athlete and really, have like a just sort of dedicated webinar series for you guys to tap into to discuss different topics, to ask questions. But Ben, you want to share your background? Ben and I have been working together for about 3 months now. He's a former minor leaguer, but going a little bit background, and we kind of give a a little personal blip here.
Thanks to the ladies. My name's Ben White. I'm from Philadelphia. I went to Temple University, graduated in 2011. You might have heard of Temple University. You might not have. The baseball program has since passed on. It was dropped. But I was an undrafted free agent. I played in the minors with the Jays for 4 years, made it up to AA. And after that, just got into this business. Been in it ever since. Now, work with athletes, helping them try to navigate all these different, financial questions they have, putting together plans for them, and kind of, serve as a role for athletes on their personal board of directors.
So I'm, one of the founders of Procapita. Myself and our CEO got together when I was at Villanova. I'm definitely not a baseball guy. I put guaranteed 3-pitch strikeout in middle school baseball. That's definitely as far as I got. But basketball was more my thing. Was lucky enough to get a position at Villanova University, where I played for 4 years, then coached for 2 after the fact. When I was a senior, we ended up winning a national championship, which was a great experience. I got a couple teammates now, 7 or 8 of them that I played with over my 4 years there that are playing in the NBA now. And, it's definitely sort of a culture of excellence that I felt lucky to be a part of. But really sort of that was the catalyst for me to start thinking more in depth about just seeing some of my teammates and their personal experiences. How could I, create a business, help guys out in terms of better handling their money and also taking advantage of their platform as professional athletes from an entrepreneurial and business standpoint. That's sort of the catalyst behind Procapita Partners, which really we're a multifamily office, true one-stop shop for everything that you need in your financial universe, traditional investing, alternative investments, all back end, financial administration services. But I think really our sweet spot is on the entrepreneurial advisory side. We have sort of a good mix of, by trade entrepreneurs that have built, scaled, sold businesses, with that financial services pedigree that you get at a Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs, and really create a relatable brand for athletes, with young, hungry guys and girls that are intelligent and sort of able to execute, on sort of, and be a resource for guys on their off the field endeavors, but then also, have this cool, relatable brand that's not sort of intimidating and really be true partners for young athletes that are navigating sort of their financial and business professional lives. That's really the sort of reason we wanted to get together with More Than Baseball, and the reason for our partnership. I think we put this slide together to talk about our missions. It's really our mission. The More Than Baseball mission is protect the future of the game and how make a difference in minor league guys' lives. It's really our mission to provide this holistic set of resources to help our clients and their families, provide them with the resources and support that they need to succeed off the field. I think, it's sort of a natural from both a mission standpoint and the way we're viewing the world in terms of how athletes are evolving and how the opportunities are different. We felt like a partnership with Slade, Simon, and Jeremy, made sense, that we could really do a lot of great work, be a resource, and really, help you guys out, and also, just athletes as a whole, really start to sort of take advantage of everything that they have available to them, at the highest level. Simon, you want to go to the next slide? So as I mentioned before, true one-stop multifamily office platform. Multifamily office platform is basically sort of in vogue, trendy term for really just a holistic wealth management solution. But we partner with today's, emphasis on today. I think the modern athlete has different opportunities, given their brand, their digital platform, their reach alongside just the amount of money that's in sports today. We want to serve as true business partners. Guys in today's league, they have the traditional financial managers, they have their agents, right? But really, we believe that today's athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, they need business partners. They need wealth management, business management solutions, and in particular, if they want to start businesses and they want to sort of capitalize, and own businesses, be business owners, not just representing or endorsing businesses. We sort of provide everything necessary and have the team to sort of enable that. So those are our 4 service offerings that, we feel in the space are sort of important and really can kind of touch on every aspect of, an athlete's financial and sort of business life. So I'm going to hit the next slide. So this is sort of more, we wanted to put this slide together just to give you guys a little bit more of like a sort of more detail around kind of what our sort of partnership with MTB and, what this business bullpen is going to be all about, and also kind of outline, some services to kind of give you some understanding on sort of what we offer and how that could be valuable here. I think our goal, for this business bullpen, we want to have this ongoing with you guys and be a true resource, in conjunction with the MTB team. And it's really to sort of give you guys, a sort of resource, trusted asset to help you guys, build out skills, understanding in the financial world, but then also, if you're thinking about starting businesses, becoming business owners, or just want to talk through any sort of business concept that is intriguing to you while you guys are playing and, preparing to eventually maybe transition out of sports or maybe take advantage of it during, provide sort of insight and sort of, a professional sort of take on those concepts in these interactive group discussions. I know I'm talking a lot right now, but, as in this sort of introductory webinar, but really our goal for these is to be collaborative with you guys and be a real resource for you guys. Talking through, just listed out some concepts that we can kind of go through here. Ben, Simon, can you back up to that slide? Just list out some of the stuff. I've been touching on a lot of different things, but, detailed financial planning, which Ben will go into in a second, but what's in a financial plan, talking through different types of investments, stocks, bonds, but also private equity, venture capital, some of the stuff that you see in the news right now with, Andre Iguodala or different guys that are sort of, have built this brand as an investor, talking through stuff like that, the value of insurance, or really entrepreneurship 101. How do you create a business plan? And, what are all the different pieces and details that go into that to, and we can sort of through these be a resource to kind of equip you guys with, what you guys would need, as you sort of build out your business, business acumen and sort of understanding of the financial world, and then alongside that, it's sort of just want to give you sort of, the picture into, topics we'd be discussing with you in these bullpens, but then also kind of the services that we have that line up with that, that sort of, make it, how, or showcase for you guys how we can sort of help you activate, if you were interested in working with us, right, to sort of, or, wanted to understand why, we're talking about some of the things that we are, we can sort of show you these services in terms of, how we help you reach those goals and, create real customized plans and strategies for you to do so. Ben, I'll let you take it away from here. We want to give you guys kind of like a take and sort of just like, basic understanding 101 on kind of like financial planning, different things to think about, and also to sort of highlight, what this content will kind of look like and really, give you guys a quick taste on kind of, stuff that we can kind of talk through and how we think about the world here. Ben, you want to take that?
Yeah, let's do it. So gents and ladies, I was a non-drafted free agent, showed up to Florida. I got my first paycheck. I think it was for $500 for 2 weeks of work. Obviously, we got a raise this year if you're in the minors, which is awesome. But when I was going through the minors, I didn't have, all the help that someone that was drafted, in a higher round or might have gotten a signing bonus. I was a senior. I didn't have bargaining chip. And so obviously when you're in the minors, it's not the easiest thing to make ends meet. When you have 5 guys sleeping in a 3-bedroom on air mattresses, you have to make do. And so you have to become a little more savvy. Between when you get your paycheck, then you have to pay the clubby. Then you have to obviously have to buy beer or something after that, but you have to make sure that you're living within these confined means. And so getting good at that and knowing some ways to do it is really important, right? And so financial planning 101 is just an idea of where should I start? When I remember when I was in high A balls in my 3rd year, I'm sitting there going, well, I know I want to get married to this girl back home. I started saving $5 every paycheck with the hope that I could buy a ring. After 2 years, I had like $80 saved up for this ring, and it wasn't possible, but it was at least a start. All right. And so when we look at financial planning, it all starts with income. All right. And obviously, as you climb up the minors, you're going to have new incomes. Maybe you did get entitled to a signing bonus. What do you do with that? Is that your nest egg? We all know somebody that might have gotten a nice signing bonus, but maybe didn't do it the right way. I remember sitting in the car with one of my old teammates, and he got his ATM receipt, and he had signed for $800,000. And he showed me his ATM receipt, and this is after 2 years of being in the minors. He had $70,000 left to his name. How does that happen, right? And so our goal is to avoid that. And so when we look at this chart, your incomes derive or really afford you through lifestyle, how you're going to live. We got to make sure that we're meeting our fixed expenses before we can get to variable expenses. It comes down to wants versus needs. I don't want to sound like I'm a teacher or like I'm a parent. We've all made mistakes. But financial planning 101 is all going to start with just developing some short-term, long-term goals, using these pillars that we're going to talk about in these different seminars, with the goal being that you guys can open up and ask any questions, be vulnerable in something like this. All right. And then we can coach you along the way. If I was to look at this, and I'd pose the rhetorical question, if I was going to drive across the country, and, I know I could go west, but I decided to start my GPS midway through. Who knows what could have happened, on that way. Our goal would be to start the GPS as soon as I left my front door. Financial planning is no different. There's no reason why you can't start now to set yourself up down the line so that you don't have to make, mistakes that could be more costly. All right. Some of these things might apply to some of you guys. I had teammates that had children very young. I had teammates that were married very young, that owned homes very young. I couldn't do that in Philadelphia. All right. But, by keeping some kind of plan in place, we can afford you all of these opportunities and all these, the ability to achieve these goals. All right. And so feel free to pop any questions into the chat, if you have anything, I'm happy to answer along the way. All right. But to kind of just give you an idea of, one, how do we operate with you guys? And 2, how should you view where you are? This slide right here, I call it the Meek Mill principle. All right. I'm a Philly guy. Obviously, I love Meek Mill. Some of you guys might not. But the reality is that financial planning is trying to do 2 things. All right. It's trying to, 1, help you achieve all your dreams. All right. But 2, also prevent the nightmares. If you're to look at this triangle right now, it's kind of like the life cycle of how we are as people growing up. All right. We start off as dependents. Mommy and daddy pay for everything. Then all of a sudden, either maybe we go to college or maybe we get signed out of high school. And now we become somewhat independent, where maybe mom's not washing our laundry after a baseball game anymore. But we have a little bit of money. We can buy maybe some basic food. We can, afford a house with 10 other guys, or, a hotel room with 4 other guys in the minors. And then all of a sudden we start to make a little more money. And the goal is to become now comfortable. Or maybe, I can go out and splurge. Let's go out and get a bite to eat versus cooking. All right. And before long, hopefully, we're in the luxury spot where now we're not so much worried about, can I go out? It's, how much do I want to spend when I'm out? All right. And all these things, though, they take a long time to happen. Dreams take forever sometimes. All right. Think about retirement. It's a 40-year escapade, man. You get out of college, you're, 21, 22 years old. Retirement's 40 years away. It takes forever. And people want to buy a beach house. They want to send their kid to college. There's all these goals and dreams people have, and it takes a while. Something people forget about, though, is the nightmare part of it. Everyone likes talking about the dreams. but we also have to take into account what could slip us up along the way. All right. And that's where the nightmares come in. And unfortunately, they tend to happen a lot faster. All right. And so financial planning is merging those two things and then making sure that as we climb up this pyramid, we never have to go back to the step below. Once I'm dependent or once I'm independent, I never want to be dependent again. Once I'm comfortable, I never want to fall back into independent. And once I can afford the luxuries where I can go down the grocery store aisle and I don't have to worry about if I'm buying name brand Pop-Tarts or the real one or the fake ones, you know, that's what our goal is, and to make sure you never have to go back to what you were doing before. All right. Next. All right. So just our approach, just want to fill you on some tools and some of the things to think about, right, is we want to have some kind of baseline knowledge of what I personally have. One of the biggest things that, you know, people think about, you know, is where is my money? How much do I have? People, you know, I come across clients that they don't know about accounts they've had for years. It's crazy. I can't fathom that. It's your money. All right. So we want to make sure that we're educating you, one, on what you have and then what it does. Okay. We want to make sure that all your goals, you know, we know about. At the end of the day, you know, they're not our goals. We're working with you to try and help you achieve yours. All right. And then it's making sure that we do analysis and numbers just to make sure that we can make ends meet. All right. And that all the goals you're having are, one, attainable, but two, you know, there's not something that could slip you up along the way. All right. So these are more just tools that we talk about you doing, you know, once we go through our process, but there's really nothing that you can ask. It's a bad question when it comes to financial planning. It could be something as simple as, you know, how much should I save for a house? Do I need a mortgage? Should I lease a car versus buy a car? All these things, you know, are things that we can try to coach you through. All right. So why don't we just roll to the next slide? I think we just have some questions. If people have questions, you know, we can maybe open it up even for people to talk versus just type in. But, you know, hit us with them. You know, let's see, because last thing we want to do is sound like teachers. You know, this is want to be collaborative. We want it to be interactive. You know, hopefully we're drinking beers on here at some point down the line. The irony of this is Marcus Stroman's on the screen right now, and he was my neighbor when we played at Vancouver. Had a little bit of a different career path than I did.
I'm gonna unmute everybody now, so we'll see.
Yeah, let it rip.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, any questions, you know, or sort of, you know, about us or anything, you know, kind of that we do or about this, you know, feel free to jump in here.
Y si quieres preguntar en español, todo bien, también.
Anything. It could be about the coronavirus and the stock market. It doesn't have to be just about financial planning. Literally, there's no, it could be about how does a minor league 401k work. Dynamite. Very good.
Yeah, guys. Well, Simon, if you want to roll to the next slide, you know, we have a survey link on there, guys. If you guys want to, I guess we can probably send that out, Simon, to the group. But, you know, we want this to sort of be extremely relevant to you guys and, you know, have it be something that, you know, about topics that are interesting to you and sort of like create content around that. So in that link that you see on this slide here on like the financial onboarding type form, we created a sort of like mini survey, take maximum 45 seconds to fill out. Information on the site. But feel free to hit us up. You know, we're sort of, you know, an ongoing resource, you know, work in lockstep with Jeremy, Simon, and Slade. And, you know, if we can kind of get and be more targeted with these presentations, with these discussions, you know, that's awesome. You know, we want it to be what you guys want to be hearing.
Tell us what you want to hear, man. You guys tell us, and we can build content around that. Obviously, everyone's have different things.
I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Hi guys, Jeremy Wolf, more than former minor leaguer. If I'm in the minor leagues right now, I have a hobby, I have an idea of something I want to build. What should I do if I want to start a business? I don't know where to start. Do I build a website? Where do I get an account? Like, when do I start thinking about an LLC? Is that something you guys can help with? Is that something you guys do? Or you know, what resources are out there if I want to start a business?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it's funny, you know, I was just talking about this yesterday with one of my former teammates who his name's Eric Pascal, plays for the Golden State Warriors right now. Had a pretty good career. He's a rookie this year. Was in the All-Star game, and he had the same exact question, right, which is literally, where do I start? How do I start a business? And, any good business that becomes scalable and actually makes money, and has longevity, it all starts with a plan. I think creating a detailed business plan that outlines your business model, your financial model, brand marketing strategy, what your ideal customer is, how you're going to go about getting those customers, and then also, are your services and products, keeping them as customers. So it all starts with a plan. And I think, that's absolutely something we do with guys, both athletes and non-athletes. I think, being as detailed as possible, creating that business plan, and then, creating an execution plan to activate that, is really, the step one to building a successful enterprise.